inside, and because when you go in there, it's all reinforced concrete. The doors, it's all the infrastructure is there for the monitoring. Anybody in there you can follow. So if you are growing cannabis, nobody can steal it.
And here's what I brought that up for you.
Okay, hold it. We're back on the air
to help her know.
Hold it. This is a wait.
Of how
Wait.
we could
Are we on?
double this money.
Yes.
I just want
Okay.
you,
Wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen.
Let her know
We are still
it's a good
discussing
possibility.
the great city of Highland Park
let me-
and wait a minute and Ace Academy. This is Chop It Up with attorney Linda Bernard. Joining me today are Mr. Curtis Smith, who is an urban planner and a member of the board of directors of Ace Academy, and Mr. Roger Penzabany, head of the Chamber of Commerce, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce for the city of Highland Park. We're revisiting this issue about land use, really, in the city of Highland Park and the Ace Academy. And I think you had a very important point that you wanted to make.
But wait. I got to, as the producer of the channel, I'm letting everybody know that I made the executive call to run and extend this program for one reason. Off air, after we went off the air, I made a comment, an opposition and explanation for Attorney Bernard's. She says, "Hey, if you lose this $500,000, you're gonna be ass out, or this $500,000 on the tax roll. What are you gonna replace it with?" So I made a comment in regard to cannabis, and it came into question. Maybe that was my agenda, my reason for attacking this. So I want to put on the record that I do not have any interest in cannabis at all. I don't work for any cannabis enterprise, don't have any deals pending in Highland Park nor any place else in the world with any cannabis grower, seller, to my knowledge. Don't have any contracts, agreements with anybody. I'm not in any conversations with any elected officials in Highland Park or anywhere else in regard to any type of agenda to deliberately move ACE or attack ACE and Spectrum for the benefit of somebody else. I'm putting it on the record, and I turn the cameras back on to say that me representing the chamber, I live in Detroit. I don't live in Highland Park. I cannot vote in Highland Park, but I can advise the stakeholders of Highland Park what their options are, and I can talk to the other businesses who feel a certain way about everything in the infrastructure of Highland Park was good for their bottom line, etc. So that's why I am here. I am not attacking Mr. Curtis. I'm not attacking the education and the treatment component that's housed on that compound. I'm simply saying, without all the other narrative, without all the other rhetoric, that Highland Park could be better served financially, socially, politically, in every other regard, that if Spectrum were, as it stands right now, to move out. If some other community wants them, cool. But I don't think that land space will sit there vacant if it's shopped right. Nor would the rest of the land in Highland Park sit there vacant if it's shopped right. So it's bigger than this conversation we're having right now. Yes, we have to have Mr. Smith put an offer out to get the mayor in here, and I would talk to him. And this is an election cycle, so Yacht might not even be the mayor again. And some of this stuff happened 20 years ago. He was there, but he didn't, so we're talking about now. We're not talking about 20 years ago. I wanted to start this camera to be
You've been speaking for 5 minutes.
So what? It's my damn station. I'm clearing up my name. And I'm going to yield and let him talk. But I want the people to know, because I don't talk in a silo or no hidden things. So with that said, my point is simply this. Attorney Bernard suggested, hey, Spectrum can build a wall. They can disguise it, make it better. If it's an eyesore for anybody, maybe so. Let Spectrum come to the table. You can feel free to go back and tell them what I said, watch the tape, whatever. If they can come up with a plan how they can fit in this city without offending the business there, the stakeholders. But at the end of the day, if the majority of stakeholders say, Roger, shut up. We wanted to stay here. I'll shut up because I'm there for the business and the stakeholders. But we should have that conversation. We shouldn't be having private conversations between business in the chamber, or business in the mayor, or business in the council. Everybody, if you really want to progress this city, get it back online, do the right thing for the kids and every damn body else, we should have public forum conversations without people trying to cut.
You can't have a conversation. You just want to preach.
I don't want to preach.
You
are
want to do
preaching. The damn show, and you don't want to talk about what's really happening.
You are preaching.
Go ahead, man.
Let me just make one point, and I want to hear one point. The only reason this became an issue was because Highland Park did not have a K through 12 authorization from the state, as I understand. They had a K through 8. And in order to continue ACE Academy, you needed to be authorized by an entity that was K through 12. The only reason. So this was not a community issue. This had nothing to do with nothing. This was a technicality, a small technicality that has been addressed. Now, you were talking about how this land you think will ultimately be used or what's going to happen. Go ahead.
So no, Roger, you made some good points. I just want to clarify that the reason why I suggested Mayor Yap come to the show is that you asked some questions about neighborhood strategic planning and development and infrastructure, which I have no knowledge on. So Mayor Yap may be the best person also to talk about if the school or if the property is paying $500,000 a year in property taxes. Your question was, where is that money going? I don't know.
General
so
fund.
That's why I suggested that the elected officials who are fiduciaries of the city be the ones to come and can perhaps articulate that. I don't know. I mean, you said a lot. I think I tend to understand and support and appreciate business. I think also at times, there are times when the best interests of business are not necessarily the best interests of the public or segments of the public. And this is one where I disagree. Because yes, the highest and best use of ACE Academy's facility or Spectrum's facility could be a cannabis either production or storage or distribution center.
Why do you say that?
Well, I say it because, and I don't know anything about the cannabis business. I've never been inside one of their facilities. I do admire the names that they come up with.
Yes,
they're
I do.
Catchy, they're hilarious, and they make me laugh.
Dank and everything.
Dank, House of Dank, House of Kush, whatever. But anyway, I've never been inside one, so I don't know how they operate. My assumption is that that is a very expensive or precious commodity, highly sought after. Therefore, it needs to be maintained in a secure facility. Perhaps the move is incarceration facilities that are vacant. The best adaptive reuse could be for that product because you have the reinforced concrete. You have the special heavy doors that separate corridors. You have the audio or the video system already in place.
That's correct. Very expensive.
You have a site plan that minimizes that controls the egress and egress of the access to the property.
Correct.
Because and so you won't your chance of getting stuck up are smaller. You can monitor the area and you can monitor employees. I imagine that some of the theft is internal as well as external. So perhaps in this case, the highest and best use of that property from a business standpoint is a cannabis either production or distribution. And
you say because you said tents over stuff because of
you could use the play area that's the vacant land if you were to put a greenhouse. I mean, or what do you call it? It's some type of where you can grow stuff in the wintertime.
It's a greenhouse.
A greenhouse. And that may be the highest and best use. But in this case,
plants.
These are children. So wait
a minute. So we're talking about substituting people with plants because once the operation is in,
plants.
Expensive plants.
Just for the record, to interrupt, cannabis was only one suggestion and option. It could be, and the reason I'm saying these things because they generate hundreds of millions of dollars. It could be a casino. It could be an esports complex. We have people from all over the world. In other parts of the United States, so I say all over the world, who want to. The reason why Highland Park is attractive, let's just say this first, is because the land is cheap because it's down and it's economically cheap and it's literally surrounded by Detroit. It's accessible to every freeway and it's a vein going every direction. So Highland Park is a geographical gold mine. It's got an independent politic, which is attractive to business. They don't have to. They can do something in Highland Park and don't have to go through the bureaucracy, and they get a cheaper price point. So, and they don't lose anything, because if they want to be in the Detroit market, they set up in Highland Park. Bam, it's still there.
Serious.
Right. So we have to, let the people know the reason why Highland Park is a sleeping jewel. It's the people who know, they know. Where the facility is, it could be a new, some type of plant like FCA, or what's the new Chrysler thing? I forget. But it's
stages.
Yeah. It could just be new housing. For instance, right now I could be a billionaire, but where do I live in a state-of-the-art house in Wayne County anywhere, let alone Detroit? So I got to move into Palmer Woods, Rosedale Park, Detroit Golf, Indian Village. That's an old 100-year-old house. So the advantage that Oakland County has over Wayne County is luxury homes, rich people. So if Highland Park, which was built by Henry Ford Sr. himself, and all those executives, if Highland Park could take, let's say the acreage over there where the facility is that we're talking about, Spectrum, let's say that could be a new subdivision of $1 million homes, or it could be a high-rise condo that you can incorporate some type of Dubai type art or infrastructure in your architecture. The chamber, we're talking that type of beautification, that type of progressive stuff. So you could put a couple of tower condos on there and grow your population now by, let's say, 10, 20,000 people right there on that acreage. Not only are you getting the tax money, but those are people that have income that can do a lot of other things in your city and pay for all these amenities. So that's what I'm saying. So we're not on no cannabis kick here. I just wanted to say, once this is gone, what else could it be used for? Instead of having the facility is right here. Here's the facility. All the rest of this table is their compound. So all the rest of this land could be used.
But he said there's 100 acres that aren't part of his compound.
I'm painting a picture for the people watching who don't know. Here's where the school is. Here's where the kids live.
Spectrum.
Here's where the people work. All the rest of this table is part of that compound.
No, it's not.
Roger, I would just add a couple things. Let me add 3 things. Number one is there are times when what's best for business is not necessarily best for the public. And the prime example is Detroit's waterfront. If you go back about 30 years ago, there was cement silos on the waterfront. Highest and best use of the waterfront, no doubt, for business. However, there was a determination made. Mayor Archer, I think, tore them down because they thought they were going to build a casino. The casinos didn't come, but what the state has done is done a greenway, a bike path from downtown to Belle Isle. Mm-hmm. Now, that right there is a terrible use from a business perspective.
Absolutely.
It generates no property taxes. It's not the highest and best use. And you could argue, take out all the greenery around Detroit waterfront and put shipping, put manufacturing, put commercial.
Right.
So as an urban planner, we often balance what's best for business and what's best for the public and public policy. So there's where a lot of times we're concurrent, but there are times where we're perpendicular and we don't necessarily eye to eye. The other thing, though, is I think it's a false notion to think that the vacant land that is owned by the detention facility is privately owned. So they are paying taxes.
No,
it's generating tax.
Right, I didn't deny
now,
that.
Now, I haven't seen the analysis to say if you were to put single-family homes, which let's say you can get 10, 20, do they pay more or less in property tax than the facility because of the homestead exemption, and because of also, don't forget, that facility has minimal drain on city services.
Correct.
It's all contained. Mm-hmm. You bring in 40 homes, that's 40 more uses of the streets. That's more water infrastructure has to come in, and so I'm for
the environmental impact. The environmental impact will be far greater.
When you do the analysis, which one has the best cost benefit?
I'm getting ready, and now I'm going to talk to you as the urban planner developer for what you know about that. Everything you just said is true. I agree, but here's the thing: we're talking about Highland Park, and we're talking about this particular this facility is not the best use according to even what you just said, and in my opinion, speaking for other people. But I want to ask you this: let's say, and I'm talking to you as a developer now, and we move this out and put a casino there. That generates more money per day. That generates more employees. That creates a bigger tax base. It's an attraction to make people come into your city and buy food and cigarettes and gas and everything else. So, do you agree or not? If it was a casino interest that wanted to come in and take over that land, would it benefit Highland Park more?
First of all, it will never happen in Wayne County.
You don't know what.
I do know what'll happen.
You don't know what'll happen.
Because
they said gay people won't ever get married.
No,
and we won't ever
that
be
will
legal.
not happen.
And now it is.
Because the big three casinos are not going to allow it. The Wayne County Executive's Office,
might want it.
They don't want.
So I can answer the question for you.
No,
And,
I can tell you right now.
I think the answer to that question is, let's see. I think if there was but what I also say is, don't shut down what you have paying $500,000. If there's an interested party that wants to build a casino there, I'm sure the owner of the land would sell and move the facility. Now, the issue is that the plan right now is that once it shuts down, these kids are dispersed across the whole state. So
and the building is empty.
But perhaps if a casino were to come, they could build another facility that's even better. And I would want to keep it in Highland Park. Keep that money.
Yeah.
Have the casino and have the residential.
And I don't know.
Let them pay for it.
I don't know,
and let the casino interest pay for it.
I don't know.
But it'll never happen.
I don't know the owners of this land here, so I want to make this clear. You guys should understand from a business point of view. I don't know you. Not against you. I'm talking about the benefit of the city of Highland Park. So if you want to talk with me and I can do anything to facilitate, even bring a possible buyer, then okay. All I'm asking, all I'm arguing, all I'm complaining about is, can Highland Park benefit more than $500,000?
You don't know. You don't know.
But,
and until you have a plan or some structure that says that can happen, then it makes no sense to cut off your nose to spite your face. And that's what you're doing.
I can tell you this much. I don't think you'll be living next door.
That's
to
not
any
the
facility.
point.
That's my.
But
That's my
I want to
first
live.
point.
It's not the issue.
We can talk all this
we always,
other stuff,
we
but
can
you
do,
don't have to live there.
We can do
so
the facility.
You can have all these other opinions. You don't even live in Highland Park. So
you
I'm
don't
sure,
either.
That's right. But I'm there every day. I'm invested. I got some property there. I want my property to be worth something. So that's my full disclosure about what I'm doing.
Well, you're gonna have an
all
empty
these
hunk of
other-
a building
all
there,
these-
so
all these
you're gonna
other-
be happy in a minute.
We got an empty damn hunk of Detroit, but
Okay,
it's starting
right.
to come back.
No,
and people
okay,
wanna
starting
attack
to.
that.
Okay.
So Roger, I guess you make some good points, and I think they're worth investigating. At the same time, though,
There will be no casino there. I
what
can
about-
assure you of that.
What about the owners of the facility? That's a private entity. Have you talked to them?
I would
because
no,
they-
I
Let him
haven't.
finish.
So that would be a good talk because they should be a part of your.
Please help me. 'Cause
I don't know either. I'm just a volunteer board member whose passion is to make sure these kids get a good education.
Help me find the owner.
He knows the owner.
You a lawyer? Help me find the owner.
All right,
It's on the tax
I'll
rolls.
find the name and I'll send it to you, and then perhaps the owner of that facility, you two can have a conversation because ostensibly that person should be a part of the chamber.
Because I'm welcome. If he could say, hey, how we gonna help? I'll champion him. I'll start arguing everybody else to keep him there. All I want is what's best for the city of Highland Park. That's what I'm there for.
Well, I think
But it's
also
pie in the sky.
sometimes you have to. Sometimes the most vocal don't necessarily represent the majority, and sometimes we have to do things that we don't like, but it's for the good of the community.
Exactly. I agree.
Folks don't, I mean.
Your point about the riverfront was an excellent one.
We have 15
Exactly.
more minutes too, please. I just want to extend it.
Okay.
30 minutes.
All righty.
I would just say that if the place closes, and let's say it closes for business purposes, we have to be careful that we're not selling out these kids to a future that is way worse than if they stayed. And I don't know what the cost of that is and the value, because these are children.
But you keep doing that, and that's good.
There is a
sentimental.
balance.
That's 80,
And that's all he's
80
saying.
to 90
150.
people. And
he
let's
said.
even throw in the people who work there.
150.
They have kids
150
too that they need to
kids.
feed versus the whole city. So I have to jump in for that narrative. There's nobody against these people. I mean, I spent time in youth facilities and adult facilities. That's public record too. So we're not against. I'm not against that. It's a need for that. It's a need for jails. It's a need for all of that. But the question is two things. One, you have to make what he said. Hard decisions. Do the people that live there, did they welcome it and want it, or is it shoved down their throat and now that somebody's telling them we can't get rid of it for this reason, that reason? And then two, can we make more than $500,000 off of it? And I'm sure whoever this is that owns it would love to have a conversation with a casino interest or a cannabis interest or anybody who's going to make it a better deal for them. So I'm with you. Let's just have the conversation.
The only
There
part,
was no reason for a conversation in the first place. This was a
we're
technicality.
talking about today.
That
We're not
was a
talking about
cross on the
yesterday.
T. Right.
We're not
And
talking
the
about
only thing
yesterday.
that needs to occur is that the governor needs to reverse her decision.
I agree with that.
That's what needs to occur.
She needs
and
to,
then
she
and,
needs
and
to
then
reverse her decision to let this school be authorized for 80 students versus the whole
I,
city.
no, there is no city here, and there is no plan for
Damn
that.
right it's not.
No, there is no plan for this land. The point of the matter is that
do you think the governor
you
said
need to
no?
be reauthorized.
Why do you think the governor? You're smarter than me. Why do you think
I
the
can
governor
answer
said
that.
no?
Please tell me.
I think the governor said no because this is my interpretation of what I've been. I've been to several Highland Park School Board members. The Highland Park School Board voted in favor of authorizing ACE Academy and enabling legislation that would give the Highland Park School Board more power.
Okay.
There are a minority folks on the board, but are very vocal. And I think they were able to influence the state rep who was opposed to this,
Elena Scott.
And I think also there was hesitation in the Democratic Party, which I'm a member. I'm
As
a
I
registered
am,
Democrat,
card
carrying as well. I think the issue was that the change in the law went through the Republican chairs of each committee because they're the party in power. Mm-hmm. And if you go through the Republican chair, there's a chance that you get your agenda item on the agenda much quicker.
Absolutely.
And so I think there was trepidation and hesitation because they were wondering, well, why are the Republicans putting this forward? So that was one flag. The other flag is that, listen, charter schools is not a topic that most Democrats support.
Unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the governor ran with that, not looking at some of the issues that make this complex. And that is this. Look, ACE Academy, if it dissolves, it's gone. The challenge is that in Michigan, a city is responsible for the kids in that facility. So Highland Park still has to educate these kids. The difference is ACE Academy has a fund balance of close to $1 million. And that's just the way it's worked. Mm-hmm. That dissolves when the school dissolves. That goes back to state treasury. Then we also have laptops, computers, desks, books.
Beds,
all of that
food,
gets liquidated.
all of
not
the
the
restaurant
beds.
equipment.
No, not just the school.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That gets liquidated. So poof, they disappear. The school's public government entity status disappears with dissolution. Now Highland Park still, by state law, the Free and Public School Act or Education Act, have to educate those kids. So we're gone. Now the city of Highland Park is responsible for educating the kids without the benefit of having all that infrastructure in place. So
what does that mean? That means more criminal activity.
It just means that there's going to be a financial cost to educate these kids.
Here,
right now, you're saying Highland Park doesn't have to
both
educate.
of you all
the
know
150.
this.
Well, what I'm
Somebody
saying-
with nothing has nothing to lose. So Highland Park right now, I mean, they're so
that's not
far
true,
down.
Roger.
That is not
they're
true,
so far
Roger.
Go
down.
further in debt.
Okay, but here's
Right. You gonna have
help
another
me-
receiver.
You may owe $100,000, now you owe $300,000.
That's a figure of speech, and everybody knows what that means. So
But it's not responsible, though.
It's not
I got you,
responsible.
but here's the thing. Here's the compromise that's a possibility to my pie in the sky. They need K through 12 authorization. Highland Park needs a high school. This guy obviously can afford it, and he has some partners.
That's
No,
not the same
no,
thing.
here's a here's a compromise.
That's not a compromise.
This ownership could say, in partnership with the city, we'll build you a high school.
But you know what, Roger? I agree with what Roger says. I just wonder because you are wearing a social justice hat that most business owners would loathe for someone to come and tell me to build a high school in
Right, I'm
exchange
not
for
doing
You
that.
know why?
business.
You know why? Look at me. I'm not the typical dude.
But
I
your
understand.
chamber members support that position.
Yeah, my
No.
chamber members do. When were you there?
No, because
When
it's
were you there?
Because businesses are not going to support
Wait,
the
no,
fact that
you weren't in
that
any
you
meeting.
order a business to build a high school in order to stay in
I'm
business
I'm answering
in that
your
community.
question.
That makes no
Yes.
sense.
If you help me put together the meeting between these, I guarantee you.
I don't see it happening.
Because I know the people that
I'm
you're
not gonna
talking
say it's
about.
impossible.
I didn't say it was going to happen. I said it's a suggestion that I can tell you
Oh
this.
my God.
The majority of the stakeholders in Highland Park, especially the senior.
are the
What
property
stakeholders?
owners,
Who are the stakeholders?
Everybody, legally, technically, everybody that's resident there is a stakeholder.
Let me ask you
The
this.
voting public is majority of seniors. That's what the voting record shows, that the voting population in Highland Park are majority seniors. The majority of seniors are the ones who own things. That's what I mean. So what I'm saying is, when we talk about education and we talk about the kids and we talk about all this that's beneficial for the youth, for the city, for the adults, a high school is something I guarantee you.
it is beyond the pale of this discussion.
it's
Roger,
oh my
Roger.
God,
But hold on. If the majority of the residents of Highland Park are
Of
seniors,
seniors,
then
why do
would
they
you build
care
high
about a school?
Why
Because-
would you even build one?
because it's not about building
Because
a
you don't
school
have the
for the
students.
seniors. You gotta make the city attractive for people to live there. So first of all, nobody wants to move in a damn city. No, they don't have schools, they don't have a park, they don't have a water system, but they don't want a damn jail next to them. The question was that your argument was, oh, you're gonna lose 500,000 if you kick them out. Well, it's stupid, and no sane, reasonable, intelligent person to say, oh, I'm just going to get rid of them because they're jail and not try to get something else, not to have something else already there. I'm telling you the things that would be welcome there. I'm telling you the things that the people, the next person who runs for mayor, I'm going to encourage them to try one of these damn things that we do, not business as usual. If you got a bunch of millionaires over here and they want to stay in good with the city, build a goddamn high school. That'll make somebody like you.
I just think
That'll
Roger,
help the
I think-
kids.
I think Roger, your premise is flawed because you're predicating the decline and the demise of Highland Park. That building is there. I'm saying.
It's part of the problem, not part of the solution. That's all I'm
So
saying.
what I'm saying
we
is,
can dumb it down
I think
to
if somebody wanted
that's
to build
to
in
that.
Highland Park, they would just build. Regardless
Correct.
If that's there.
They don't
They
need
could.
you.
I'm asking, what are these people going to do?
They are already
What, they
doing
wanna
it.
stay
They're paying
there. What are they-
$500,000 a year.
And-
property
and-
tax.
Screw that 500,000. I'll find somebody to pay $100,000
And-
in property
and-
tax
and-
and
That's
take the
less.
land.
And you also
I mean,
have
$1 million,
income
I'm
tax.
sorry.
You also have income tax from the people. So yeah, okay.
The bottom line is,
I can assure
yes
you.
or no. Yeah,
I can assure you.
I know you guys ain't gonna
But let me
say
ask you
you're
this,
not gonna
Roger.
say
Mayor
it on
Duggan
camera.
Why-
and
why
the
wanna
Detroit
live-
Chamber is
why-
not going to
You
tell
all don't wanna
somebody.
live in Highland
Wait a minute,
Park
hold
as
it,
of now.
hold it.
You
The
don't wanna
Detroit
live next to a
Chamber
jail
is
anyway.
not going
You
to
don't have
say
to say it on
screw
camera.
a
I did.
$500,000 a year
To $1 million
taxpayer.
one, they will.
If the $1 million is on the table,
I-
if it's not, then we want to keep the
everybody heard my
500,000.
position. I welcome, and I'm taking over for the last 5 minutes. You can join. I hope, and you attorney and person, I'm gonna make sure Mayor Yap, City Council, and the school board, Kevin Smith, all the rest of them, I'm gonna invite them to watch this tape. And I'm saying I'm willing to put up the time and come back, or I don't even have to come back. I'll send some other people better qualified than me to speak, because it could get over my head too. I'm just here talking about the grassroots, boots on the ground stuff. I'll send in some people to talk all the high-minded stuff. So yeah, it's over my head too.
Can I
Let's
say
have
thank
another
you? I
meeting.
just want to say thank you, Roger. I want to say thank you, Linda, Attorney Linda Bernard, because
Police
this
commissioner.
Police
I'm
commissioner.
your police
That's
commissioner.
right. I voted for you. I just want to say thank you for this conversation, because by us talking, we got different ideas. I was able to understand your perspective. I hope you were able to understand my perspective,
do.
my passion. I think Highland Park is a beautiful community. I think Highland Park has the potential to make some meaningful and significant contributions to not only Highland Park but to the whole region.
Correct.
I certainly remember as a director when I was there that businesses did like working with us because you got the whole city hall and you can get things done quickly.
That's correct.
And so, the jury is still out on this one. We hope that the school can remain. I hope that they're able to get an authorizer. And these are our kids. We
That's
love
correct.
them. They're going to support me when I get to be an age where I'm dependent on or can take advantage of Social Security. I want them to be working. And so, again, but above all, I just want to say thank you, Roger, for this platform. Thank you, Linda,
Thank you.
Police Commissioner Linda, for this show. And to be continued.
And I thank you for being one of the few who actually come out in public and talk about anything pro or con, positive, negative in regard to Highland Park. Most of them hide out, want to talk in little meetings, want to rub elbows with people that pretend that they have the juice and could do something. But it's a new day in Highland Park, especially as long as the Highland Park Chamber is there. And we're going to invite everybody we can to come in and take a look at Highland Park, not just the people making the backroom deals. That I said that on the record. Anybody can come challenge me, but I thank you for being one of the few, like I said, to come and actually too make an intelligent conversation, because the truth is about Highland Park, it's a lot of people that don't know shit about shit, and I said that ignorantly on purpose, and I'm gonna bring in some people the next time that can speak to this a lot better than me, with a lot more expertise.
Well,
and intelligence.
I appreciate you making yourself available today for purposes of discussing ACE Academy, and I want to thank you again, Mr. Smith, for representing the Academy and the board. And I want to thank our listening audience again. This is Chop It Up with Attorney Linda Bernard, actually Police Commissioner Linda Bernard for District 2 as well. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, and various social media platforms. We invite you to follow us, subscribe, share your comments with us directly here to the station. And thank you again for watching WJZZ, Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. And this is our proprietor.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
See you later.